Good afternoon, grazers. It is what is today? The 4th of January. And I haven't done a video in a while. Been busy with the holidays. But today I want to talk about ice storm preparation for me here in southern Missouri. And they're calling for a 1/2 inch to an inch of ice/sleet in my area, and then a little bit of snow on top of that. We've had a really mild winter so far, but I wanted to talk about watering and some preparations and considerations for an ice storm, which is different than snow, right? And I'll do a little pan around here. You can see we still have quite a bit of grass. I mean, I've got enough grass to graze all winter long here, and even this over here is regrowth from the last time I came through here. Now I came through this spot pretty quick because it was wet, but I wanted to, ponds obviously freeze. I don't want the cows on there. Last year I seen on a neighboring property as I was driving to town, I seen 3 or 4 dead calves and cows that had fallen through the ice and got froze in place. So I prefer to have the cows drinking fresh water. And so this is one of my tire waters, and last night it was 27 degrees. The cows drinking this, keep it open, but I'm pulling them out of this section, but they're going to be watering out of this water here in a few days, and temperatures are supposed to be absolutely frigid, by southern Missouri standards. I think temperatures actuals are supposed to get down to 6 degrees or something like that, and wind chills would be below 0. But so one of the things is these tire waters that I have installed, every one of them on the farm, I've got 12 of them. They have this float valve, but then they have this bypass valve right here. And what that does is it bypasses before you get to the float pressure to let go or to release. You can turn that valve, and it allows water to flow through. And the groundwater here I think is around 50-55 degrees. So essentially what you're doing is you're running 50-55 degrees worth of water into your tank, and then it overflows through that, and I have to unplug it. It's flowing a little bit slow, so I'll have to unplug that, and then that drains over the hill away from where the cows are at. So when I come back in a few days, I want that water to be I want this water to be free. If I don't do this now, in 4 or 5 days when I come back, I'll be busting ice, and I'll be trying to stick my arm down in there to turn that valve on, and it's going to take a while for it to thaw out. So I'm going to go through here. This is where the cows, if I'm making anybody dizzy, I apologize. So this is where the cows are just coming off of. They cleaned this up, probably say 80% harvest efficiency. Maybe a little less. The manure was stacking up a little bit, so I gave them a little bit more space. While I'm walking, I'll talk. So I'm going to show you one of the advantages of having springs or little live water on your farm. I'm going to go ahead and I keep hay on hand for this type of weather. So a 1/4 inch to an inch of ice on grass like that is very difficult for the cows, in my opinion, to graze through. Snow is different than ice, right? They'll dig through snow fairly easily, and I don't worry about it. But iceberg lettuce, as I jokingly call it, cows don't like iceberg lettuce, and neither do I. And so I'm not going to force them to graze, chewing through a 1/4 inch of ice to get to a 1/16 inch thick piece of grass. So I will go ahead and give them, I'll probably feed some hay until the ice melts off of the grass, and then they can start grazing again. So just moved the cows, and we, one of the things up through here, you can see this is what they're on. Grass in this section is, I'm going to say 12 to 18 inches high, depending on which section that we're in. This is, this is showing you the good, the bad, and the ugly. This is one of the sections of the farm that really needs all of these cedar trees removed. Southern Missouri, I have no use for a cedar tree on my property. It is nice for the cows to get out of some wind and cover, maybe, but that is one really cold wind tunnel underneath these cedar trees. So this little section right here that we're in, and they're up on the hill up here, there's cedars in here, and they probably will lay in the cedars a little bit to get out of the initial storm, but then they're going to be out grazing as soon as possible. But there's a spring that runs down through here. You can see this little dry creek bed, and probably 9 months out of the year here in southern Missouri we have a lot of gravel in the fields, in the creeks and everything, and so the water comes out from underneath some of these trees and rocks, and as you can see right here, water's flowing through here. And so this is the same as the water in the well up there, in that when it's 55 degrees out, or 55 degrees worth of water coming out, this water will not freeze. So anytime you have a spring like this, and it just happened to be in our rotation that we have this, that we're in this area. And so I'm going to utilize it. I went ahead and shut off that other pasture where they were just at, paddock, and there's going to be 2 paddocks in this section going up through this spring for the next couple days, and then I will probably bring them back over to this section some. But all of this is solid rock down through part of this, and then it gets back into gravel, as you can see. And the cows love grazing in here. So this is, you can see where this spring is at, and then you can see right here, this is where my electric fence comes across at. And so this water just continues. I may go up there and show you where it comes out at. Continues down through this section, and it, like I said, probably 8 or 9 months out of the year this has water flowing in it. If we've had any amounts of rain at all, it has water just in this little section, and then it dips back down underground again, and then comes back out further downstream. But one other thing I want to talk about is electric fence in an ice storm. And so the electric fence is plenty hot. It's running around 11 kilovolts, 10 to 11 kilovolts right now. And so there's plenty, even if we get some ice on there, it's going to still be pushing some energy through there. The problem that we get into is just the same as you would get a 1/4 inch of ice on the grass. There will be a 1/4 inch of ice buildup on this polywire. And so I try not to put out any more polywire than I absolutely have to. I have this wire separating basically this half over here and this half on this side of this 10-acre field. And so we've started grazing across this side, and I'll end up splitting that tire tank that we saw. And then when we're done grazing on this side, we'll switch over and we'll start grazing this side. So this poly wire is going to get a lot of weight on it. And the bigger the wire like this, it just seems to hold more. This is poly braid, and it just seems to hold more ice on it. And so when I set up my move today, I went ahead and used my thinner poly wire instead of poly braid. So that way it wouldn't hold as much ice necessarily as what it seems like the thicker wire does. And then tomorrow morning, right after the ice storm hits, I'm going to turn them over here into this section. And then once they go into this section, I will not have any more breaks between here and the end. There's a lot of cedar trees, a lot of brush, and it's really hard to calculate dry matter in there. So I'm just guessing, there's going to be about 3/4 of an acre total there. But it's more of one of my poorer quality fields. I'll probably also feed a bale of hay to help out with getting them enough forage, and I rarely ever feed any kind of range cubes or anything like that, but I'll probably feed a couple bags of range cubes too, just to help with the protein and energy, since this is the first major storm of the year. Okay, so I was gonna walk up here real quick. So this spring, I love this spot. All these cedar trees I really need to go, because again, there's no grass. No grass grows really underneath a stand of cedars like this. It's really just a biological desert. You can see the rocks, you can see the needles. Erosion continues because there's no roots to hold anything in. I've already started. I probably cut about 30 cedar trees the other day, and we still have a while. I mean, there's thousands on the property, so I don't know when I'll get to them all, but for every cedar tree I cut down and get out of the way, that's just that much more grass that we can grow. And so some of the cedar trees, the little ones aren't going to do anything. The big cedar trees, I'm going to save some of them. I'm planning on trying to build a gazebo down by the 2-acre pond I built, or had built last summer. And so I want to use cedar for the post down there. But this right here is pretty much where the spring comes out at. So you can see right through here, this is just a wet weather, comes out anywhere right in here. You can see it just barely trickling there as it comes out all through here. And then when the rain gets big, we'll get a little bit of water, you can see, coming out down through here. And then this nice big sycamore tree right here is where the last little bit is on the property. So there's a 100-yard stretch here, and but it makes for a great watering opportunity here for the cows that won't freeze up, that you don't have to worry about. And I have, what do I have on this farm? I have probably 7 places like this on different parts of the farm that the water flows like this. And so this is we're going to use what we got and work smarter, not harder. And we'll get through this little snow patch and ice. I'm probably jarring all over the camera, so better stop rock hopping while I'm walking. We'll also put out the rest of the fence down through here, the post down through here. So I took down some posts from another section so I can finish building this up. As you can see, like I said, this section is in need of a lot of love, but right now it works, and we're still understocked, I would say, because we are grazing all year without really needing to feed any hay. So but as you can see, broom sedge and things like that. One of the things I enjoy deer hunting, and even in northern climates, these cedars are good for, in some ways, for deer to be able to get under in heavy snow cover and things like that. But in climates like this, you know, in southern Missouri, we don't get a lot, and it's terrible. I mean, all of this could be good quality grass and pasture, but there's nothing, you know. And there is, in this little section, there is probably 3 acres that has no grass growing underneath it because of these cedar trees. And deer don't get in the middle of that. You might see deer on the edge of this, but they're not getting in the middle of that and staying in the middle of that. It's colder in there than it is out here in the taller grass. And so we're just gonna keep cutting cedar trees down as we get time, and that's what we'll do. So, all right. I'll probably make one other thing we'll talk about is the farm has, you know, that tire water runs on off the well, and so, you know, the cows are drinking, I'm gonna say at a minimum they're drinking probably around 1,000 gallons of water a day. And so, you know, if I didn't have this spring here and I was just using the well water, obviously it becomes really critical to ensure that the well doesn't freeze up, right? So I'm gonna make I'll probably make a YouTube short video, or maybe a short video about the well house and how we use a heater inside of there that is thermostat plug-in controlled. And so I'll do more on that later on. So water, obviously important for the cows, and I know that, you know, cows can learn to eat snow and all those things to get what they need, but in the meantime, this is what we're going to do. So these are my practices that I get ready for the big ice storm of January 2025, and we'll go from there. So hope you guys are staying warm where you are. Hope that you've got lots of grass going into this new year, and with that I will sign off. Y'all have a great day.